Thank you so much. So, if you consider yourself a religious person, you may come across these moments that I personally call pauses. These pauses are sometimes physical, you actually stop in your place, but the important ones are the mental pauses. So, my brother Omar and I, we shot a film recently called Boiling Pot. It's a drama about black racism. And while filming, we had a lot of these pauses. Primarily because while shooting the film, we wanted to make sure that we did not cross any religious lines. Primarily two things. Number one, we didn't want to have a lot of cussing. Number two, we didn't want to have any sensual touching between people that aren't married due to our religion. Not easy. However, we said, you know what? We're going to give it a shot. We're going to do what we can. Immediately, the first pause, before we even started shooting, is the first pause. Number one, can we actually do this? Can we actually make the film entertaining and a good movie that everyone's going to like without crossing any lines? Number two, can we actually relay this to the cast and crew that's going to be working with us, even though we're going to be working with people of different faiths? Are they going to understand why we're doing this? And number three, how religious do we really want to be? I mean, can we let go of some of the things in order to make a better movie, that kind of stuff? But we said, you know what? We're going to push through. We're going to make a great film. It's going to be the best movie ever. Everyone's going to love it, and we're not going to cross any lines. So, little did we know, right? First day of filming, we have our first problem with the first actor. Keith David. He's an African-American actor from maybe Armageddon. You may know him from our platoon. Amazing guy, right? He had a line that he had to say. The line was very simple. A very, very easy line. Any of you guys can say it right now. This is not a game, princess. Very simple. Try, please give it a shot. This is not a game, right? You know what I mean? 37 takes. 37 takes because he insisted on embedding the F-bomb in there. And he was like, you know what? This is just what's natural to me. So I'm gonna beep it out, but basically, oh, this is not a beeping game, princess, or this is beeping not a game, princess. A bit awkward too. Or my favorite, this is not a game, princess. Beep. Really, just leave it out. But no, 37 takes. And we were like, look, Keith, we don't want any cussing in the movie, really. He's like, why? You guys are afraid of the rated R? I'm like, no, it's not that. It's more of a religious thing. He's like, why? I'm not going to use the Lord's name. I'm like, no, it's got nothing to do with the Lord's name. We just don't really want much cussing. What the beep do you mean you don't want cussing? So he didn't really get it. But he's a great guy, great actor, did a great performance. But yeah, another scene, we had two actors that were supposedly acting like they're engaged. So that makes it a lot harder, right? How do you not have any sensual touching when you're engaged? FYI, I was one of the actors. Much more awkward, much more difficult. So we had a beach scene, and we were like, let's make it a fun and lovable scene where they're, you know, kidding around and playing in the sand and that kind of thing, but let's just not get any, you know, not get intimate. So we really engineered the scene. They were playing with a starfish, and they had like a little fist fight, and oh, everything was great. We shot it. We were like, you guys, you know what? We did a great job. We're within the lines. No problems whatsoever. People came to watch the movie, and they're like, you know, their relationship isn't really believable. Doesn't really look like they're in love. It's not working out. Pause. Oh my God, are we going to fail at this? Are we going to have to cross some lines? I mean, if one thing in the movie is not believable, the whole film kind of falls apart, right? Then comes the second pause. You know, how bad is a touch, really? I mean, what kind of touch is bad? Is it about how long the touch is, or is it about the context, or where the touch is? And I mean, okay, how about this? Why is touching wrong in our religion to begin with? I mean, if we follow the sunnah, the way of the prophet, it teaches that you don't want to have sensual touching with someone of the opposite gender because you don't want it to lead to other things, premarital relations, infidelity, et cetera, et cetera. But hey, this is a movie. None of that's going to happen, right? Then comes the third pause. If I really stick within the lines of my religion, am I doing it for me and God, or am I doing it because I know my parents are going to be watching? And my friends. Well, if I'm doing it for my parents and friends, then doesn't that kind of sully my intentions and, you know, between me and God? So maybe I should do it because I'm, and then I was like, you know what, hang on now. This is three pauses now. I mean, if you guys have seen Inception, like a dream within a dream within a, 3 dreams, what's beyond the 3rd dream? It's the limbo. You don't want to go down to limbo, so general rule about pauses, when you hit 3 pauses, you're probably doing something that you shouldn't be doing. So when we hit the 3rd pause, we're like, you know what? No, let's just stick with our original thing. Or let's be a little bit smart about it. We went back and did some reshoots. We added an extra small scene in a car where the 2 actors, share a very sincere "I love you" without having any of the touching, and that scene actually made all the difference. People loved the movie. We had a test audience at UCI. They watched it. They said one of their favorite things about the movie was the relationship between those 2 actors. So that was great. We were very happy with that, and we went on to festivals and now talking to distributors, so we actually did it. The funny thing is, no one realized that there wasn't any cussing in the movie. No one realized, no one mentioned that those actors aren't touching or having any whatever. Nobody really realized that because we concentrated on the story about racism. For us to add any of that stuff didn't really seem right to begin with. And then we paused and thought, why are we doing this to begin with? Why are we making films? Our parents taught us when we were small that you always want to do good. And if you can do good while doing what you love, that's a win-win. And maybe if you're doing good, you can then cause other people to have pauses and think and reflect about whatever it is that they're doing. And as long as while you're doing what you're doing, you're having some pauses of your own, then you're in good shape. Thank you.